Hello world, it's Lee Kelson coming to you from Mountain Creek
State High School.
Mountain Creek State High School, and I'm here with Graeme Breen. Welcome, Graeme.
Thanks very much, Lee.
So Graeme, just for our viewers out there, give us a little bit of your backstory and how you arrived here at Mountain Creek High School.
Yeah, sure. I had a production company in Alice Springs for a number of years and left there to come over to the East Coast. Thought I'd get back into teaching until I got the business up and going again, and found I liked it so much I quit the business and doing this full time. I really enjoy it. Following on from that, I bought all those skill sets that we were talking about in relation to business that I'd learnt in business, and tried to bring them into the school environment to give kids some real world experience.
Right. So let's just touch on Alice Springs for a little bit. That's an interesting place to live. I lived in Kununurra in the far northwest of WA for a while, and I actually started my music management business and touring business up there way back in the 80s. So tell us a little bit about Alice.
So in the 1990s it would have been, early 2000s, had a production company called Redback Productions. We did a lot of work with the Tourist Commission up there and local businesses, a lot of people that fly into town for particular activities. The Remax balloon activity there a while ago, I remember, we're involved in that. Right. Those sorts of one-off activities, and just responding to what clients are after, and all of those skill sets we bring into high school, like problem solving, etc., just lends itself to that sort of work. It's great. It's great. Yeah.
And so here you're doing some amazing stuff around entrepreneurship and the Entrepreneurship Program. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the history to it is in 2013, when the digital technologies curriculum, the new course, the Australian curriculum course, was proposed. We identified that we wanted to upskill at the lower end some primary school teachers. So here in the high school we could have kids with good skill sets. We've done that. We provide about 1,000 seats of training for teachers. And on the other side of the coin, we wanted to provide opportunities for students to demonstrate what they could do with these new digital technology skills which they're going to acquire over time. Did a bit of research and found that Lean Startup and the Startup Weekend program specifically lends itself to that sort of model. So I attended the first adult Startup Weekend out at the Innovation Centre. Loved the model, loved the idea, and it was short and sharp and to the point, covered all the theory, and have started introducing that here at school. We decided we also wanted to promote it to the wider community, so we were involved as a founding member in the Mayor's Telstra Technology Award. We, a couple of teachers here, started up the Startup Weekend for Youth weekends. And now we're bringing it into the classrooms now that our knowledge is matured and the environment's matured. So we've got a few places where we have it positioned already, and we've got it in the as a whole term in the year 10 digital technologies course, term 4. We do it at the end of each of our semester length courses in years 7 and 8, and we also have a STEM academy we run here. Runs for a semester each year. It's across 7, 8 and 9, and the second term is allocated entirely to Lean Startup, which is the application of all that STEM knowledge the students have developed and further developed in the academy to real world problems. Right.
And it's interesting because I talk to a lot of parents and a lot of people in my travels, but one of the questions I get asked all the time is, what's all this gold rush about innovation and entrepreneurship, and what's it all about?
Yeah, great. So motivation for us always has been and there's enough commentators are saying now that all the jobs are changing in nature to a greater or lesser extent. Numbers of 40% of current jobs will disappear. Those sorts of figures are being touted. So we need to equip our students with skills for future workforce. Those skills aren't necessarily the skills I might have learnt when I went to school. They're more around what we call 21st century skills, so problem solving, creative thinking, collaboration, all those sorts of skills which, and I have a lot of meetings with employers now, and they all say, we can train them in the other skills that we want them to have, we just want them to having those skills. So it's consistent with what people are after. It's working really well.
Well, our 3 top skills here at Beach City that we love talking about is creative thinking, problem solving and critical thinking. Critical
thinking, and another one, and I should say this doesn't need to be outside the Australian curriculum as well. The Australian curriculum's good for these sorts of skills. Just needs to mature over time, and I think it'll be spread throughout all schools. It's just it's only been implemented in a few years. Well, it doesn't get rolled out for digital technologies till 2020, so it's still in its infancy. But I think in time, all schools will be able to provide an environment where that's going to be taught, those skills. But at the moment, we're trialling it with our startup academy. STEM Academy.
And so I mean, obviously a lot of other schools are taking on entrepreneurship programs, and we were just at a program last week at Somerset College on the Gold Coast. They do a great couple of days, and I know AB Patterson on the Gold Coast. So there's a number of schools that are doing it, but it still very much is trailblazing stuff, isn't it?
It is to the extent that there's possibly not a lot of awareness around exactly what's involved and how it can be implemented. I think from my experience with people I've spoken to, teachers I've spoken to, tends to be the ones who maybe have had some exposure to business previously, who can see the way forward. Other teachers are keen, just unsure about how to progress, and we speak to a lot of schools because all schools are keen to do it. It's just how we get that pathway forward. Yeah.
And so, from your perspective, the take up with the students and the response from the students, is it positive?
It's really positive. We've had strands all the way through grades 7, 8 and 9 since we've launched it. It's only 2 years ago now. And it looks like we'll have multiple Year 7 classes next year, so it's widening its scope. I think as well as some take-up of entrepreneurship generally. We worked with the Mooloolaba TAFE down here to introduce a Cert 3 in IT, but with an entrepreneurship focus. And that's seems really, really popular, because that's the trouble with the Years 11 and 12 courses is they're so full. They're very, very busy, those students. So to be able to provide a VET qualification, a Cert 3, is the next step in getting entrepreneurship out there and getting those skill sets we just talked about, getting those out there too.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's excellent, Graeme. So you're doing great work here, and keep up the good work. Thanks for having a chat with us today.
Not a problem.
And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you in the future.
Good on you. Thanks, Lee. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Graeme.